Good afternoon. I'm Tina Tasaka with Cannabis X America, and we are here at the Women's Ultimate Expo in Phoenix, Arizona, in the Downtown Convention Center. And I am here with this very vibrant woman named Sara, but her company is also Vibrant Via. And she was a speaker yesterday, and we got to talking a little bit about what you were speaking about, but I didn't want to get down into the real details of it. I wanted her to talk about what she was speaking about, but she was definitely talking about women. Women and what we're always talking about. How can I lose weight? How can I do this? How can I do that? Right, Sara?
Absolutely. Yeah, I spoke yesterday on hunger, not hormones, or hormones, not hunger, why diets fail for women over 35. And it's just in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's something that I hear all the time. I've worked with thousands of women across the country, done tons of labs, heard their stories, and just kind of understanding the frustrations that they're having. And usually sometime around 35 or 40, what worked in the past suddenly no longer does. And whether they start getting more anxiety or gaining weight or belly fat or inflammation, autoimmunity, there's all kinds of things shifting, insulin resistance, and all of these things are happening. And over, they're going to the doctor and being like, something's off, I don't feel right. And they're essentially sent home with like anxiety meds or laxatives and being like, your labs look great, everything's fine. And they're like, something is off. And so that's where...
And you said it, anxiety meds, like, wow, here's a pill.
Band-Aid solutions.
Here's a pill.
Not getting to the root cause.
Right.
And not listening to them and educating them.
This pill will fix it. This pill will fix it.
Yeah.
And that's something that we talk about in the cannabis industry all the time, and it drives us bonkers. Here's a pill that will fix it. Here's a pill that will fix it. And keep going. Yes.
And so essentially what I'm trying to do is educate and inspire women to take back control of their health, to understand what's going on, to get the right lab data, to see, oftentimes what's going on. And when I'm talking about balancing hormones, I approach it from what I call the triad hormones. We're looking at their cortisol, because stress hormones are going to go up as our estrogen and progesterone start to fluctuate and then fall off the cliff eventually. Baseline cortisol is going up, even if you don't feel stressed. I'm seeing a lot of insulin resistance coming on. Thyroid dysfunction is very common. It's actually called thyropause. And so all of this comes to a head as our sex hormones are also starting to fluctuate wildly. And that's essentially what perimenopause is up to 10 years. And it can start as early as 35.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of women don't realize that. And they think they're going crazy. And I want to just say, no, this is what's going on. And maybe what worked in your 20s and 30s, we have to make some small shifts.
Yeah, the early 40s, you can definitely perimenopause. It's very, very, very common. I mean, and I do read about it, see it, hear about it a lot, but they're targeting the early 40s for the perimenopause.
And that's why I'm focusing on this area, is that 10 years before menopause that's when women start to see the biggest body composition changes, the biggest metabolic changes. But this is the time. You don't want to wait, because there are underlying health issues going on that the changes that you make now, the areas that you're able to rebalance, your hormones, your gut microbiome, your inflammation, is going to have massive impacts on how you go through menopause and the entire second half of your life. It changes your health trajectory. So I'm passionate about educating and empowering women to do that.
Is there anything that you can do, like give any key tips, like if you can give any key tips, like 2 key tips to women in their 30s, 2 key tips to women in their 40s, 2 key tips to women in their 50s? Is there anything you can do?
I would say there's not as much of a cutoff as like that exact decade. I'm seeing a lot earlier onset of perimenopause than there used to be. But essentially, anything you can do to, one, know your numbers, get lab testing done, and don't just assume that if you're in the reference range, that it's optimal. because normal is not optimal. And if they're having symptoms, you want to know where your blood sugar is and insulin. You want to know a full thyroid panel. Anything that our gut health is, I mean, Hippocrates was onto something thousands of years ago. Everything, I do a lot of microbiome tests, and everything starts there. It's like the gateway to systemic inflammation and autoimmune disease. So anything you can do to just start, I think, listening, tuning into your body. We're so accustomed as women to just like silencing it, or, looking to others and sacrificing our own health. And we have to put our own oxygen mask on first.
Oh, you got that right. There's just absolutely no question. I mean, nobody knows your body better than yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And that's the other thing I'm going to say is trust your gut. If you know something, if you feel like something is off, it is. I have worked with thousands of women, and I have not met someone who is making up their symptoms. There's always a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
So find someone who will listen and dig to find the root cause.
Yeah. So even just sitting here in the short amount of time that we've been sitting here, I have plucked out. You've continued to say the thyroid,
yep,
and your lab testing. That those things seem
yep
to be just so overwhelmingly key here that to just be plugged into those things constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed that every time I go to the doctor, they always check my thyroid.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
always that. But
and then it's really like the holistic piece. Like, I think that's the beauty of functional medicine is we're not just looking at what we're putting in our mouth, but we're also looking at how are we moving our body? How are we sleeping? What does our stress management practice look like? Who are we spending our time with? Environmental toxins, they all play a role. There's so many endocrine disruptors, hormone disrupting chemicals that can throw off hormone balance, cause us to be insulin resistant. They're obesogens. They cause us to store fat. So there's a lot of factors that play, and there's usually not one smoking gun, but everyone has a couple things.
It is fantastic when you start breaking it down. I mean, even the simplicity of going for a walk. There are so many health. There's so many health benefits.
Yeah.
Besides moving your body, there are things about seeing wildlife.
Yes.
That people don't know about, that does things to your body and to your mind, of seeing real birds. I mean, like, wow, I saw real birds. But I mean, it is so essentially important to see wildlife and to get out there and to see trees and nature, and it's scientifically backed. I mean, and it's so important that you go out there and go into the real air, and also
Absolutely.
I do believe that there's something about it's the morning sun at 5 a.m.
Yes.
Something about it's when that morning sun is coming up. It might even be at like 4:30 a.m. That is that's your gut.
Yep.
It creates the good bacteria in your gut.
Yep.
Is that true?
So that is one thing that I would say. Obviously, nutrition is important. We want to eat a minimally processed anti-inflammatory diet, but sleep and circadian rhythm are extremely important. And think about it. We're in this room here today that is temperature controlled. We wouldn't know what time of day it is. It's
these lights.
There's no windows. One of the things that women can do, especially if they are struggling with some sleep disruptions, is our bodies love routine and consistency. So if you can get 7 to 9 hours of deep restorative sleep, approximately the same wake and sleep time most nights, and then first thing in the morning before you turn on your blue light on your phone, because if we're looking at our phones in the evening, it blocks our brain from producing melatonin. That is the most powerful anti-inflammatory that our bodies make. It's not just for sleep. But then when you get up, if you can get some natural light on your eyeballs, so that's where it's stepping outside. If you can go for a short walk, that's powerful. But even if it's cloudy, you want that red light. It's the natural red light from the early morning sun. It's going to regulate your circadian rhythm. It's going to regulate mood. It's going to help you sleep better that day. And that is critical. We're insulin resistant immediately the next day if we don't get enough sleep. We're going to have cravings and more, mood dysregulation and more fat storage. And so that is a powerful thing. And a fasted walk is a really good way to tap immediately into fat burning without spiking cortisol like other forms of cardio would. So it's like triple whammy.
It really is. Yeah. No, it's fascinating. Yeah. So now, do you speak often? Do you speak in?
I do.
Excellent.
Yeah,
okay.
I speak a couple times a month.
Fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah.
Where are your next big stages going to be?
So the Los Angeles Tribune Leadership Week, May 4th, I am speaking. So,
I love this. You'll be in LA.
So this one is a virtual event.
Okay.
But yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited. But I do a lot of speaking, mostly California and Texas right now. But I do speak all over the U.S. for a lot of women's groups, some corporate wellness events and things like that. So
this is excellent. Let's call out. How can we reach you? How can our viewers find you?
Yes.
Let's get this on the board here.
So my website is vibrantvia.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms at Sara Barthel.
Super. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you've got a lot of speaking engagements then for 2025 and also some conferences then, some big conferences.
Yeah. I just presented at the American Nutrition Association on this same topic. And so it's really my passion project is just to educate and empower women, because this is the time in our lives where we have so much to offer in terms of what's coming, like our education, our experience, our life experience. And it's also like, as we're having these hormonal fluctuations and we're starting to not feel like ourselves anymore, I want to empower women to step into their higher purpose, to their calling, to really make an impact on the world. And that was my story as well, because now in my 40s, I feel like I finally rebalanced things that I was dealing with in my 20s and 30s. And I want to give women those tools as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is a constant shift. I mean, I'm going into a new decade myself, and I didn't want to, but you have to. You can't stop the clock.
Yep.
But it is a constant shift, and you have to deal with it. You you got to deal with looking in the mirror and how am I gonna?
Yeah.
It's a shift.
Yeah.
It's a shift, but certainly I think that we have so many more tools available to us now.
We do.
We have so many more wellness choices, and we need to be taking advantage of them. We need to be looking at our own inner voice, and we need to be looking at our own body, and we need to be listening to our body.
Yes.
Really.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more. There's
a lot of noise out there on social media. So sometimes we just need to unplug and simplify. I like that.
Well, Sara, this is just a delight. Thank you for coming onto the show
with us. Thank you so much for having me.
And
it was a pleasure.
Congratulations on all the speaking and everything. Just fantastic.
You.
No, I really want to start following what you're doing and tap into your knowledge and learn from that. And we appreciate that you jumped on, and for sure we'll make sure that the viewers will get to see this insightful information.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
No doubt. We'll definitely be following you going forward. So thanks, everybody, and we will continue here with the Ultimate Women's Expo here in Phoenix, Arizona. Tina Tasaka, Cannabis X America.